Lansing, Michigan, Rep. Gary Glenn has earned the disappointment of Michigan's largest energy provider for remarks he made referring to it as terrorists he'd like to shoot. Glenn, R. Williams Township, made the comments in reference to House Bill 5902 that would allow for a long-term industrial load rate through Consumers Energy for Hemlock Semiconductor, which is partially owned by Midland's Dow Chemical Company. Glenn is the chairman of the House Energy Policy Committee, and represents parts of Bay and Midland counties for the 98th District. He is running for the state Senate seat currently held by Sen. Mike Green, or Mayville, this fall. Minutes into calling the May 15 meeting to order, Glenn said he had been asked by members of the Energy Policy Committee what he wanted of the bill. "What I'd like to do is shoot the terrorists, but I am not willing to shoot through the hostages to hit the terrorists," Glenn said at the meeting. State Rep. Gary Glenn calls Consumers Energy terrorists. He then told committee members and consumer representatives in the audience that he had a Consumers Energy lobbyist in his office last week who threatened to pull support of the bill if the company was not treated with sufficient respect. That hostage would be Hemlock Semiconductor, based in western Saginaw County, which had proposed building its own power plant to provide electricity for the facility if HB 5902 was not approved and potentially increase customer rates across Michigan. "What I want, members of the committee, is I want this bill to pass. I want it to pass without amendment," Glenn said, adding any amendments could put the bill's passage through the state Senate at risk. Glenn got his wish, as the bill was approved by a vote of 16-2 at the May 15 meeting, but he has since come under scrutiny for likening Consumers Energy to a terrorist group. Katie Carey, Media Relations Director at Consumers Energy, told the Saginaw News that the company was disappointed in Glenn's comments. "As a company, we stand for open and respectful dialogue, and we strongly believe our future depends on civility in our public discourse," Carey said. "Unfortunately, we didn't feel as though Chairman Glenn stuck to that last week. HB 5902 has the support of Consumers Energy," she added, which allows the Jackson-based company to continue serving Hemlock Semiconductor while also safeguarding the affordability of energy bills for Michigan residents. "We stand by it," Carey said. In a statement released Friday, May 18, Michigan Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Rich Steadley said Glenn's comments were "thoughtless and irresponsible." Representative Glenn's referring to a Michigan-based company that has been in operation for 132 years and now has a workforce of 15,000 employees and contractors as terrorists he'd like to shoot is totally unacceptable, Steadley said in the statement. "There are times when people of goodwill may disagree on public policy, but state lawmakers must refrain from discouraging participation in the legislative process through reckless and disparaging comments," Steadley then asked for Glenn, who was first elected to the state legislature in November 2014 and is currently seeking a state senator seat, to publicly apologize for the comments. In reply to an email from the Saginaw News, Glenn said his statements were an analogy that referred to Consumers Energy holding hostage legislation that would affect a major employer in Michigan. He also responded to the Michigan Chamber's call for a public apology, and said he understands and respects the organization's obligation to respond to demands of a dues-paying member. Anytime the CEO of Consumers Energy wants to appear before the House Energy Policy Committee to apologize for her corporate lobbyist's threat to scuttle legislation affecting 1,500 jobs in the region, I will certainly accommodate her, Glenn wrote. He also pointed out that some very interested observers believe his statements resulted in more votes for HB 5902, more than was expected. Glenn did release a statement on Monday, May 21, accusing consumers and DTE of using dark money to finance deceptive TV and radio advertisements supporting Kevin Daly, his primary opponent in the state Senate race. Daly told MLive he has no idea who is paying for the advertisements. "It's news to me too," he said. "I know he's trying to claim it's being paid for by consumers' energy. I don't know how he can prove that." On April 27, Glenn announced a bone scan had revealed 2 small cancerous tumors after he had been in remission for 2 years.